Hi, everybody. Welcome back to From Chai to Cheerios. I'm Kruthi.
This is Rahul.
And we are finally back after another round of sickness.
I think we are better right now.
Much better, but I'm still going through it. I'm still
Yeah.
it's been a month and I'm still going through it. It
Yeah.
sucks.
I mean, she went through antibiotics and all those good stuff that makes your sickness even more sick, but it makes you recover and you feel better. That's what the whole concept of antibiotics.
And that's what they say. You feel like crap, so.
Yeah, that's what I said. They give the medication for you to get better, but you feel crap, but you get better. That's the whole point of antibiotics.
Okay.
Akis pak pakizak. Akpak repak. You know that? That's what it is. Anyway.
Anyways, in our last few episodes, we have mainly focused on how we met, how we transitioned through a lot of our struggles, and, the reality of having kids in the US based on, your income, your household, and expenses and things like that. I think we started to touch on a topic last time that, finances is something that is very key that you need to be transparent about in your relationship, be it debt, expenses, any budgeting, any planning. It's very important for your partner to know what the status of your financial income and your financial stability is in the household so that nothing goes out of bound. And that's where a lot of the clashes occur, is because either there's no transparency of that, or there's transparency and one does not consider it.
Yeah. I mean, financial understanding is a big topic for me because it doesn't come in a day or two. Either it comes from either your parents, normally if they teach you like how to be financially independent, all those savings, bank accounts and all those things, or you learn it the hard way, which is like exploring everything. So it's just like, for example, if you just started investing in a stock market, right? So you don't know where to keep your money, you don't know how to run it, you don't know what to do. So eventually you'll be in a dilemma, like, okay, you know what, am I making the money? Am I throwing the money and stuff? Actually, it's pretty much the same thing in a scenario where where you're in a relationship or a couple actually over there. The fact is that it's like you guys are in a joint business, so consider investing in yourself rather than in a business. That's the only difference. If you pour more money in a things that is not valuable or that doesn't give you any return on investment ROI, you will eventually be like into debt. Positively invest some money where you can make some value out of it, like people invest in gold, people invest in like silver, things like this. So if you actually invest the money in certain areas where you can actually make money, that's a positive investment for you. The same thing with the couples, and they have to understand each other's financial situations before making any decisions and consider it as like a decision from both husband and wife rather than just taking an individual decisions and pouring the money and eventually regretting, let's say.
Yeah, and I agree. I 100% agree. I think it starts with the parents. And our generation, we did not grow up with like a lot of financial education because there wasn't a lot of resource on this back then. And especially being from, India, our parents, they train us how they were trained. My mom, she's a crazy budgeter. Like she's really good at budgeting because she has had the education to support it. And, my dad, not so much. He's not like crazy at spending, but he's just not aware of like the balance that there is. And so that I've seen that fluctuation and that turmoil that it caused in some areas, but in a way they were able to manage because there was that transparency. And they're debt free today. So that I'm really proud to say that they're debt free. So yeah, I think that partnership between husband and wife is very important when it comes to financial stability. Even if you are in debt, that stability between you two to get yourselves out of debt is also very important.
Yeah, I mean, the whole concept of 70s and 80s dads actually over there, it's a whole different thing. I mean, either some people got lucky and they got inherited with money and everything. They're lucky people, I can call them. Some people, they just got into hardship and they learned the things out of the way, and they invested in the money in a positive way and they made money out of it. And some people, like, they're careless basically.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't know what they're doing. They just get the money, like, salary or doing some chores or whatever that they're doing, and they just use the money for the month, and then they think about the next month in the next way. So for me, that's not a futuristic way of life. It's not just me, actually. For example, like this whole war situation that is happening right now, right? And you don't expect a prime minister, like for example, like Modi, he's coming on online and he's saying that, hey, you know what, don't buy gold,
Yeah.
don't invest the money,
Yeah.
and don't waste the fuel, don't travel a lot, things like this.
Exactly.
This is all the financial aspects of what he's talking over there.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically what a couple should do as well.
Yeah.
If you're investing money, just think about it where you are investing it.
Mhm.
And I don't want to say this, but a lot of the couples, the misunderstandings happen because of the financial situations.
Exactly.
And if you don't talk out to your partner over there, like what you're facing and what you're going through and the financial trouble and stuff, what happens is eventually one person gets like overburdened and the other person keeps spending on the money, and eventually you will be ending up in like credit card debt or personal loan debt and things like this. And all of a sudden you just start screaming and shouting and doing, hey, you know what, we are just going in debt and stuff. So my perspective is, why can't you talk earlier?
Yeah.
Before the things collapse.
Yeah.
It's just like Titanic ship is sinking, and
Mhm.
eventually it'll be in the deep waters, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to say like we're blaming the partner that doesn't care. It's not that they don't care. It's probably just that they don't know.
Exactly.
A lot of the situations that I've seen here, like whenever I see new couples or new families, it's always, they're one of them is from India, or like they've come here on, some dependent status, and they're having an education and depending on their partner because of that. That sort of situation comes up. And because it's a new country, it's new experiences, it's new everything. Like you're experiencing everything for the first time. So it's very exciting. And you do sometimes want to experience nice things based on how you grew up as well. So I don't blame the other person for feeling that way, but it is important for the partner that is earning to be transparent and say, hey, so this is our budget. This is how much I'm earning. And, we can spend this amount for this and save this amount for this. That sort of conversation is very important to have early on, so that, even if the partner does end up spending, they have that in the back of their mind that, okay, I might be going out of budget. Let me consult with my partner before I do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a simple rule, and I'm not so sure who invented this, but I like this rule actually over there. So there's a simple principle that they say, like 70, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
So the 70 is where you make all the spendings, right?
Yeah.
And the 10 is where you save the money. So you should always keep that 10.
Yeah.
And you should never touch that 10 until you really need that money,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And the other 10 goes to charity and stuff, and extra spendings over there. Let's say if you want to really go on like extracurricular activities over there, use the 10 over there. And the 10 is where you invest the money. So this 70 10 10 principle will definitely help any couple or any partner over there in a long run.
Yeah.
Because let's say if you're actually spending your 70 bucket like fully, right? Still, if you think that 10 bucket over there in the long run in 10 years, that 10 will grow eventually in a very good amount of money. And if you keep that 10 in, let's say, high yield savings or something like this, that will give you some interest and stuff. So again, I did not learn this from anyone. Nobody came to me and taught me, hey, you know what, you have to do this, you have to do this,
Exactly.
save the money, keep it in this, keep it in stock. Nobody said me anything. I actually failed in lots of stuff. Like, let's say, for example, I thought of saving the money, but eventually I did not have that bandwidth to save the money. Then I broke the savings, or eventually I invested some money in the, stocks and stuff, but I did not get any profit. Basically, I got losses. So it's like either you explore the things, or you can try learning from the experts over there, or whoever is going to guide you. But that whole investment strategy, that whole planning, whatever that you're doing, do it together. keep your partner in place, educate the partner. If
Yeah.
the partner doesn't know, it's not their fault. But if you're not teaching your partner what is happening with your finance situation, or let's say the investment, that's basically your fault.
Yeah.
And you'll end up, as I said, so you'll end up in like very bad phase, let's say, if you're not educating your partner. So all it matters is the financial education is very important these days. And with all the new technologies that is coming in place, like AI, this, that, what the war and
Yeah.
situations, financial security is very important right now than any other time, I can say.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree. And even if it is a 2-income household, like for example, us, like you and I are both working full-time jobs, we still have conversations every few weeks about, what our credit card expense has been, what we're paying for electricity or water, and where some amount of investments
Amazon.
are going into. Yes. So having a baby and being postpartum and everything, Amazon is definitely going to be like your like a lot of expenses go into Amazon. We've talked about it in the previous video. I don't want to get too much into it. A lot of moms know how I feel, but yeah, and I think that's also in consideration. Like I do place a lot of orders on Amazon. I'm not going to lie and say, oh, no.
We do it. I say we do it rather than I actually, because it's for the family.
Exactly.
You're not, you order some stuff for yourself, obviously, for your well-being and all those good stuff. I don't want to talk about that, but it's we. You're ordering something for dog, for the kid, for you, for me, for house,
And because we don't have time to go out and buy them.
So instead of spending for Walmart or Target, you're spending for Amazon.
Exactly.
That's how the investment is strategized.
Exactly. And I think that's the thing. We're very transparent where things are going out of bound as well. Like if I say like if I need to make a purchase for myself, let's say for health reasons, something or the other, or some recreational purchase, I always ask you, regardless. I earn my own money. I spend on little things for myself. I have a budget for myself. But if there's a certain limit that it's going to, I always consult you. That's always how it's been for the last few years.
It is good for the family.
Yeah.
It's good for our financial health, because eventually my idea is if things go wrong today or tomorrow, we should be in a situation that we should be able to survive like at least 6 months.
Exactly.
Without like touching any of our 401ks and blah blah blah, whatever that the stocks or whatever that is.
Yeah.
You should not be broke on a day one when you lose something, when you lose your job or something like this, let's say.
Yeah.
And if, let's say, being a partner and if you bought a house together, for example, that's what the thumb rule they say. You should always have like 6 months of savings. You should at least try for that. It's not like you can do it actually.
Yeah.
But at least you should try for the 6 months of savings, so that, if things go wrong, if things go like not, you will get some wiggle room to play with the money over there. Else, if things go wrong and if you don't have the money to play with over there, that's where things starts. That's where the whole bad phase starts, and you'll be having no money to play over there.
Yeah.
So again, money is everything these days.
Yeah.
You cannot ignore that fact.
That's a really good point that you brought up. And I want to talk about this as well. Like, we bought our first house 3 years after we, officially, you and I both came to the US. Like, I was here for a little bit before, but after you came, we started from scratch. You had an associate level job, even though you had experience in Germany. And, we did not have a salary. Both of our salaries basically cut off at our rent and basic expenses like groceries. And we started from there to buying a house because we had a budget set. We had educated ourselves on a lot of the financial aspects. And I don't think we ever even envisioned of buying a house at a point in time. There was a point in time where we were like, okay, we're probably never going to buy a house here. We're just going to continue living on rent, and we're just going to save money and just hope and see what happens. But I think during a very crucial time, and thanks to some of our friends that were there at the time, they were buying a house at the time, and we were going to see them and visit them, and they were kind of showing around, and they had explained some stuff to us which made us realize maybe it is possible, right? And, when we were exploring houses and we were looking at houses, my thought initially was not, oh, I want a huge house. I want a huge, infrastructure. I want like a huge kitchen. No, no, no. My idea was, is the backyard big enough so that if we do have kids, if we do have, anything that we want to plan out, it's spacious enough, good lighting, good ventilation, a good enough kitchen to store everything we need, especially since it's Florida. We have hurricane season, so we want to make sure everything is safe around our area. And yeah, I didn't expect like a 6-bedroom house or like a 5-bedroom house because I know what our budget is. I know what our finances were like.
Yeah, back then when we are talking about this house and stuff, also like, there's options for us to get like 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom house,
Exactly.
And like 5-bedroom, 3-bath kind of thing.
Yes.
So bigger houses, bigger plans and everything. And the funny thing is that the lenders are willing to give the money. Like, you can get like 600K house, 700K house, and all those stuff. But eventually what you and me thought over there is, okay, who is paying for this actually?
Exactly.
And how much are we paying per month?
Yes.
Not just house, maintenance, this, that, the whole house bills, electricity, water, whatever that is going to consume in a monthly basis. Right. So we just came into a conclusion like, even though they are going to give us like, okay, they are willing to give us that money, we shouldn't take it.
Exactly.
We should be sticking to our budget where we can afford that money that we are affording right now, for example. And our thought is, during the course of time, let's say you and me, we are working right now, but it's not the case every time. There might be some time when I can't work. There might be some time that you can't work. And with that, we still be able to balance the house expenses.
Exactly.
So you should always think in this way, like, if you are even a single, how do you say, like a person who is actually making the money on a single job, actually. So that will give you a clear understanding, okay, where you are standing. Let's say if you have extra money, use it. Use it to buy a second property, or keep it in savings or investment or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you guys are making more money today. You should spend more money today, right?
Yeah.
If you're not making money tomorrow, things will break down. So that's what you should not do as a couple, actually.
100%. And to your point, our thought was that, let's say I get pregnant, or, I have health complications. Like, we were going through a lot of health complexities at the time. So I have a lot of risks. So if there is a point in time where I can't work because, there's no support for us here. We don't have anybody that takes care of the baby at home. Our parents did visit. They were here for some time and they supported us through our pregnancy for a little bit. And I'm grateful for that. But they can only stay here for a limited amount of time. And so afterwards, how do we take care of the baby? They're not able to travel like alternate ways, like maybe most people's parents are doing right now. But, we don't have that kind of support. So we were thinking of the idea that if I'm unable to handle, a working situation, working in corporate and handling the child, making sure he's well fed, safe, everything, and balancing things out, because those are very important regardless. And so we were thinking, if there was a situation where I couldn't work, we wanted to ensure that we could manage some of the expenses with you working alone. Or if there's, like you said, like if you had a gap, then I can manage the expenses for some time. Because a lot of people don't know this, but they think like buying a house is like you just pay your rent expense in the house. No, that's not it.
Check the whole mortgage amount and they think this is what we have paid.
That's the thing. A lot of people think, oh, we'd rather spend on a house than investing in rent and losing the money. Yes, that's true. I'm not saying that that's false, but people don't anticipate the bills and the expenses that come after, because you have to maintain the house.
And one point I want to make over there, like, this is very important actually. Buying a house is not going to give you a profit over there.
Exactly.
It's not an asset.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a land, or it's not like a stock market or gold or something like that. It's not an asset. It's actually a liability. If you're buying a house, you just keep pouring on the money, pouring on the money, pouring on the money. It will never end. You can just renovate as much as you can expand it as much as you can, but everything comes with a dollar bill. And I always say this to anyone I know, that buying a house is not an asset. It's a liability. So think in a perspective that you're buying a house, or you're going to pour money in it in a long term.
I want to add to that. I want to say that if you do plan on buying a house, like if anyone plans to buy on a house, don't invest on a very huge property first off.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first thing people do that I see that is like a huge mistake is that they invest on really big properties.
Very big property.
And they're unable to handle the expenses that come after. I see like some of our family members, what they did was very smart. They invest in very small scale properties, right? And, they built their way up to owning multiple properties. And when they came to a stage where, okay, they've had kids and they have a family, they have a settled life in one spot, they sold one or two of those properties and they're living debt free.
And in some other case as well, like, people bought the houses like for 700K, 750K and stuff. And what happened is one of the partners lost the job. And as soon as one of the partners lost the job, they started feeling the pain of financial stress over there, because, it's like losing an arm,
Exactly.
It's like you actually lost an arm and you have to fight with one of the arms. And that didn't happen. So they had to sell the house in a year. You know how bad it is to sell a house as soon as you buy it, like in a year? It's basically you are drowning in lot of financial debt.
Yeah.
You don't get any penny out of it.
Yeah.
You just actually pay like 20 to 30K actually extra to sell the house,
And in fact, if like, and this is only if the house is still in the market price that you bought it.
Yeah.
If there's no profit, then you don't get money back. If you lose, like for example, if the value goes down because the market has been down, if the market value does fall, you end up paying back.
And again, this comes to a topic actually here that we're talking. So this happens, like the 750K houses, 850K house, people who are buying, actually this happens only because the partners won't communicate.
Exactly.
So if you actually sit with your partner and explain your financial situation, hey buddy, you know what? This is what we have, and this is where the wiggle room is.
Yeah.
If you think about like K house, we can go up to 450K.
Yeah.
This is the wiggle room we have.
Yeah.
Not like 750K. That's not a wiggle room. That's like over the board actually over there.
Yeah.
So if that person would have talked to their partner, whoever it is, that would have never happened.
Yeah.
Maybe they could have never sold the house. They could have managed it for a couple of months until the situation is fixed. This is what happens. Talk to your partner. Talk about the money, because it's not a taboo. It's not like you should not talk about money. Oh, you know what? I should not talk about money to my partner, not to my wife. My wife should not know this, all this. But it's not like that.
That's another thing. Like a lot of people, they don't talk about finances with their partner because either they're ashamed and they don't want their partner to think less of them, or it's because of ego. Like it could be like, I'm sorry to say this, but male ego. Like the fact that I am the male, I'm the provider, I don't get to talk finances with the woman of the house. Like that's not how it runs today. Unfortunately, not wrong wording there, but that's not how it's running today. Regardless of whatever it is, keep your egos aside, keep your feelings aside, and be transparent with your partner. You're sharing a life with them. You are building a life with them. If you go up together. If you crash down, you crash down together.
Yeah.
So it's very important to keep that balance. And I think I'm really glad that even though we had our ups
we
and
learned
downs, we learned the hard way, because
that's what I can say.
Because we started off with very low paying jobs and we worked our way up a little bit. But there was a time where, I would be between jobs every now and then, and you would communicate the expenses to me. And, I was going through the stress of trying to find a job. And so we had our own financial struggles at a point in time. And especially for this house, we worked very hard, very, 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 very hard to get this house. And you and I both know how hard we worked.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to learn the things out of your way rather than learning from the people. If I learn something from the people, it will cut down the time in half, and I would have learned lots of other stuff during the time that I wasted in researching and finding the ways and stuff. But it's not bad. In either way, you will learn your things. Either way, you'll get to go where you want to go. And being the people like you or me, we came from a cash economical thinking perspective.
Yeah.
We are not credit economical thinking people. So the time when you and we grow up, actually, we did not have lots of these credit card things. These get 15 months,
APR.
zero APR. 18 months, no APR. 21 months, no APR.
We didn't have that.
But what happens after this 21 months, after this 18 months, 15 months, you still have to pay the money back to the credit card company over there. So we grew up in a situation where we have like $100. We should spend that only $100.
Yeah.
We should not go beyond that because there is no option for us. That 100 is what you have.
Yeah.
And that 100 is what you spend.
Yeah.
So my perspective is think in this way that you always run on cash rather than the credit. I am not opposing any credit card companies. I love them. I use them.
Yeah.
But the fact is that I use them just like debit most often. Like let's say if there is no situation that I don't have the money, obviously I'll go beyond the credit card limits and everything and stuff. But my perspective is think in a way that you only have that as a debit, that you have to pay it back in a month or two or whatever that is actually over there. So that way, at least you have that sort of like financial thinking that, this is my limitation. Financial limitation is a very, very important thing for any couple, any person, any individual. If you don't limit yourself and if you think you're unlimited, you rather go to Ambani and talk to them because they think they are limited too.
And I think like another thing that I want to bring up, and I'm not the kind of person that talks about like people negatively, and I try to look at the positive side of stuff a lot, but I've also seen a lot of cases where, the person is not transparent with their partner about finances. They were, a single family and single person income household. And, things would be maintained in a way where this person would allow all of the expenses that were coming up. And because this person did not want to feel like less in front of their partner. And out of that frustration, when that person is not around, this person would, talk about and lash out and vent out about like, oh my gosh, this person is spending so much amount of money. And again, that is also an aspect that comes out in partners.
I think there's a word for that actually, like, partner B. I don't want to say that word B is, so hopefully no kids are watching, but it's partner B actually.
It's basically that. So again, I understand that was out of frustration and that was out of, stress that, you're going into a financial instability situation. But that made me realize that the importance of financial stability in both partners, like meaning education of that in both the partners and being transparent in that was so important. Because when you're with your partner, you need to not only be transparent, you need to be balanced. You both have a partnership. It's why it's called partner. And you balance out your household. And if you're allowing this to happen and you're going behind their back and talking about them to other people, that shows that you're not a good partner, no matter how good you are to them in person. And so I think that taught me a valuable lesson in a way that okay, so financial trouble can actually lead to this aspect of the relationship as well. That people don't even realize that can happen. Right? And I understand that, females, they have their frustrations. They go to their girls and they vent out, and men probably do it too. But there's a limit to it. There's a limit.